We are Cory and Wallace, an early retired couple on a full-time journey around the world. With a passion for exploring new cultures, discovering hidden gems, and enjoying delicious local food, we are on a mission to experience as much of the world as we can.
Welcome back. We're in Istanbul, Turkey.
And if you've been following along on our adventures, we've flown back to Istanbul after a little bit of time in both Cappadocia and in Izmir. And for our last, 6 days in Istanbul, we are spending 5 of them, the first 5 of those days, here on the Asian side of the city. And today we are going to head out from our hotel and take the metro and go explore the neighborhood of Kadıköy or Kadıköy. I'm not entirely sure on the pronunciation, which is going to be closer to the waterfront area of the Bosphorus Straits. And from there, I'm not honestly sure what to expect. It's probably going to be a little bit of, restaurants, and there should be the harbor area there where if you wanted to, you can catch ferries over to the European side where most of the touristy activity happens. But I think it's overall pretty laid back on the Asian side so far. What do you think?
Yeah, we've been here for a couple of days. We did go out for food yesterday. One of the downfalls of staying where we're staying is gluten-free is a little hard to come by because I don't have a kitchen. There are lots of supermarkets around, but I can't cook for myself, and they really struggled down in the in the restaurant with gluten-free. So what we're going to do is we're going to go find a dedicated gluten-free restaurant. We did go yesterday, and I found an amazing one. So there's another one down in Kadıköy, and we're going to go check that out. Yeah, as far as like the vibe in Istanbul on this side, it feels a lot more local, and it's kind of a relief. It's not very touristy or anything like that. You don't have like the same scams or anything like that. There's no hustle, so it's very pleasant.
Yeah, definitely more relaxed vibe here. Where we are currently staying, it isn't very touristy at all. And then even, yesterday when we went into Kadıköy, there was mostly we're just walking through like residential neighborhoods getting to the restaurant. We didn't film it, so we'll be picking up the camera with us today and kind of showing you what it looks like on this side of Istanbul.
But first, we have an hour-long train ride to get there.
A little more than an hour, unfortunately. We're basically going all the way along, or almost all the way along, the M4 metro line here in Istanbul, which is the same one that connects to Sahiba Gökçen Airport. So it was convenient at least, but it does take a while.
But we were looking at the train routes on the subway yesterday, and this city is huge. I don't think I've ever seen a subway station so intricate and as massive as this one.
Technically not a subway. They call it a metro. I believe there are subways in the city as well, but their public transportation network is actually very vast. Probably one of the largest I've seen in any of the cities we've visited so far.
Yeah, so come along with us and we'll show you all about it.
All right, we're heading down into the M4 metro here at, I honestly can't even pronounce the name of this station, but you can see this is just one of, I think, 4 or 5 sets of escalators that take us down to the level where the train runs, and it's quite a long ways down. We've just tapped through to come into the metro, and there's a bank of elevators here which go all the way down, but we're going to take the rest of the escalators. Escalator number 2. Escalator number 3. Number 4. And escalator number 5, another big one.
19 stops to go.
It's gonna be a while.
1 hour later.
We just came off the metro, and as you can see, we are right at the pier here in Kadıköy.
I can't remember what it starts with an M.
No, this is not a sea because we've gone back to the waterfront that's separating the Asian and European sides of Istanbul. This is the Bosphorus Strait, and you can see off in the distance over there, you can see the minarets of the Hagia Sophia poking up right there. So yeah, that's the Bosphorus cruise that we did. Wow, that was 4 or 5 weeks ago now. It's been a minute.
It is, honestly, guys, like if you are coming to Istanbul, honestly, take the tram everywhere you go. It's super easy and super cheap.
Yeah, so we just did 19 stops on the M4 metro line. That covered probably like 22 kilometers, and that cost us 27 Turkish lira each. It's like $1 Canadian for that like almost hour-long metro ride.
Even if you use it to get from point A to point B and then take a cab, that would cut down your cost drastically.
Yes, if we had taken a taxi from our hotel to where we're going, it would have been literally hundreds of lira. Definitely not affordable, but that metro, very convenient, clean, relatively fast. It's a little noisy, so we brought our noise-canceling earbuds and listened to music, pass the time.
Yeah, so I think that's our honest tip about coming to Istanbul. Use the metro.
Anyways, we are hungry. It's late. We haven't had lunch yet, so we're gonna go find some lunch, and then maybe we'll wander around and show you guys this area. As I said, we already did the Bosphorus cruise when we were here a couple weeks ago. But if you didn't, or you wanted to do it even cheaper, you could even just take one of these ferries that connects the European and Asian sides. I believe you just tap on and off using your Istanbul card, just like you do for the metro and buses and stuff. And I don't know what the exact cost is, but I'm pretty sure it's cheap because it's basically just like commuter transport. I'm really liking it down here. It's all restaurants, cafes, some shops, really cool street art, and yeah, again, it's got a really cool vibe here. We found our spot. This place is called the Senza Glutine, and it is a dedicated gluten-free place that we found on the Find Me Gluten-Free app. We were chatting with the owner, and he is also celiac, and as it turns out, lived in Toronto for a little while in Canada before he came back to Turkey. So yeah, it's a little cafe. They've got like some brunch breakfast options. They've got some what they call pizzettas, so I'm guessing like small Turkish-style pizzas. And they've got desserts, so we'll see how it is.
I have to introduce my partner. Normally he's our chef, and he's my partner as well. He's not celiac, but he's really doing really good things for the gluten free. For me, for the first day, and after that we decided to open to this station. But he isn't a fantastic guy to make into the right recipes and the right formulation for the gluten.
That smells delicious, by the way.
Yeah, enjoy your meal, guys.
Thank you.
If you need anything, we are here.
See, our food showed up, and by the way, it looks delicious and it smells really good.
I went with the Mediterranean, so it looks like it's red onion, pesto sauce, and parmesan, and artichoke. Yeah. And Wallace went with aubergine, basically. I can't remember the name of the pizza, but it has aubergines. I don't remember.
It's aubergine or eggplant and jalapeno and cheese and chili oil drizzle. So it looks and smells really good, and it should be a little bit spicy.
Oh wow, it's super thin. That's super rare. That's like a thin crust pizza. That's amazing. And the flavor is just...
Mine's a little hard to pick up, so I'm forking and knifing it, but it smells really good. Wow. The flavor profile is incredible. He's spent some time in Italy, and it shows. That's really, really tasty. Ooh, and there's the chili oil. A little tingle in the back of the throat. That's really nice.
That was incredible. The pizza was... Wallace described it as the best pizza he's had thus far on his travels, and I would have to agree with that. It's just flavorful, it's not overpowering, all the ingredients just work together. So, kudos. We ordered another one of the Mediterranean. So, talking to the owner, he has been well-traveled. He got diagnosed 21 years ago, so he's been celiac for a while. But he said Italy was particularly easy as far as like being able to travel and experience good food. So that makes me really excited for Italy. But yeah, I can't say enough. If you are coming to Istanbul on the Asia side, even if you're on the other side, this place is worth coming to if you are celiac or gluten intolerant.
We've ordered a dessert, or a couple of desserts. This first one is a limoncello tiramisu. So instead of coffee liqueur, it's got limoncello, which is like a lemon liqueur. Gluten-free ladyfinger biscuits, mascarpone cheese, and pistachios on top. And Cory doesn't usually like tiramisu because she doesn't drink coffee, but this will be right up her alley. That's delightful. Sweet, you get a little bit of that lemon profile. That's nice.
Öyle bulursun bence. Hayır ben de şeyi bana da atarsan. İnşallah bulur yani bir ev diyor.
O da aslında çok güzel.
It's almost like cake.
Ve
Suratından belli.
I went with the brownie, which I believe is a chocolate and peanut butter brownie with a scoop of homemade peanut butter ice cream on top.
bir tane
Which it's a little warm today, so the ice cream is already melting. Let's try that first.
O her
Ooh.
herkes olan.
Wow,
Kadının elinde ama o da
that ice cream is incredible. It's peanutty. Oh, that's good.
sokağa geri dönecek.
Mm.
O da kendi geldi.
Brownie's pretty damn good too. Oh yeah, I'm happy with that choice.
Döndü ve hani
Çok güzel.
yemeğiyle patisiyle yiyor. Şakasını daldırıyor kadına, patiğin avucunun içine alıyor. Evet.
Oh wow, that's incredible. That's almost like, that's probably the best peanut butter ice cream I've ever had.
Bir de konuşan bir kedi.
ürünler yiyor. Bir de yemek mama
That brownie
şöyle yapıyor.
It's really good. I'm not a huge brownie fan. Outside of like once in a while, I kind of crave it, and Wallace will make it for me. This is like everything you want about brownies. It's crispy on the outside,
Çok şey yapmıyor.
gooey on the
Çok
inside,
yapmıyor.
and just
Yanıma geliyor.
perfect.
Kendini bırakıyor. Zaten öyle bir son bırakması var. Bıraktıktan sonra şu elini geçiyor.
First off, it's rare that I absolutely adore a brownie. Usually I get like halfway through and it's just a bit much. That brownie was amazing. But we were just talking to the chef and we were just saying like how amazing it is. And he brought us out a tasting of all three of the ice creams that they had made. So I guess there's vanilla, chocolate, and I'm gonna say peanut butter, but we haven't tried them. So,
Cookie ice cream.
so
Chocolate chip cookie ice cream.
oh, chocolate chip cookie ice cream. And yeah, so. That's really smooth vanilla ice cream. That chocolate is really good. It's just like really subtle, but it's just super creamy. And the chocolate chip cookie ice cream. It's almost like the cookie dough ice cream that I used to get. It's really good.
As if this place wasn't awesome already, we were chatting with the owner and the chef again, and again just praising the desserts because that ice cream was incredible. We've been offered some beverages to finish out the night, and so he's brought me a Turkish coffee. You can see that it is little and it's going to be pretty strong. Turkish coffee, it's really, really fine coffee grounds, I believe way finer than an espresso grind even, and it's brewed in hot water, and the coffee grounds are just in here with it. It's just all brewed together, and then you let the coffee grounds settle and you drink, and the coffee grounds will just stay at the bottom of the cup, so it's going to be super strong, and that's why it's such a little, basically almost like a shot glass. It smells really good. There's a bit of sugar in here. He did ask how I wanted it, and wow, that's delightful. That's really, really good. It's really strong. I'm probably gonna regret having this much caffeine this late in the evening, but that's okay because we've got nowhere to be tomorrow morning.
And because I don't drink coffee, he offered me matcha. I wasn't expecting it to be quite this big. So he offered me matcha and vanilla, and that's like a milkshake. That is probably one of the best matcha shakes I've ever had. It literally tastes like a milkshake.
We've just been chatting with the owner here. Lovely, lovely man. He's giving us all sorts of tips and telling us we should come back in the winter and experience all these different places in Turkey. I've finished my little Turkish coffee and it was really good, really strong, because they brew it really, really dark. But you can see what I mean about the coffee grounds. So that's all coffee grounds in the bottom of the cup. So the last mouthful I had, I basically got like a good amount of coffee grounds too, which is why I had a glass of water to wash it all down with. But yeah, Turkish coffee is definitely a whole different thing than anything we do in North America.
That restaurant, even if you're not gluten-free, and I totally understand if you aren't gluten-free why you want to eat here, but it is a gem, and I highly recommend it.
Yeah, that was a great experience. Very glad we came here. And now we are just going to wander around in Kadıköy a little bit, head back towards the metro station down by the harbor there, maybe go to poke around and see what else we can find before we head back to the hotel. We're just on our way back towards the metro station, but I like it down here. This section of Kadıköy is it's trendy, it's hip. There's all these cool like little cafes and eateries, but it's all locals here. There's no tourists around. Like, we're the only ones speaking English like anywhere within like probably a 2-block radius probably. Just these cool like little streets. You got like stray cats all over the place, and they're all adorable and very well taken care of. Really cool street art and graffiti on a lot of the buildings, and just generally really awesome vibes here in this part of Istanbul.
Best fed strays I've ever seen.
We definitely found the busy, slightly more touristy part of Kadıköy. Lots of bars, restaurants, lots of locals, like almost no tourists here as far as I can tell. I'm hearing Turkish. Most of the tables seated are just locals. It looks like the after work crowd having beers and food.
There's definitely some tourists here because there's some touristy shops, but it's very minor compared to, like, say on the other side if we were that. But I was just saying that this street in particular reminds me of Jalanalor in Malaysia, just with all the places to eat and everything like that. There's no food vendors out like street vendors, but it has that like really good vibe to it.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. Slightly less aggressive touting though, which definitely nice. And we're only like, I think 2 blocks to my left right now is back towards the pier and the metro station and the ferry terminal. So that's the direction we're gonna go. But yeah, like this part of Istanbul, very, very different vibes than the much more touristy section over on the European side. As we're walking back towards the pier, we get to what definitely is the more touristy spot. We're only like a block from the pier now, but all of a sudden we come across like a couple dozen police standing around with riot gear, like the big riot shields and stuff. There's some of them that are holding carbine rifles and submachine guns. And then in the middle of that square that's just in the intersection behind us, it looked like there was people holding protest signs. It's in Turkish, we don't know what they're protesting. So far, so good. It's peaceful, they're just sitting there quietly and the police are just milling around. But
we know that things can get really bad really quickly, so we're going to get out of here because we do not want to get caught up in any of that.
Agreed. So we're walking away, but I just noticed something. The police officer standing closest to us that was there by the building there, she was holding a paintball gun. I know what it is because I used to own one. It was a Tippmann 98 custom paintball gun with like an automatic feeder. And basically, my bet would be that thing's loaded with pepper spray pellet, like paintballs. So basically, as she hits people with those, it releases pepper spray.
Yeah, and even within the few minutes that we were standing there, things were starting to get intense. So we're just gonna get on the train and get out of here.
Civet vendors are everywhere down here. We just ate, so I'm not hungry, but they're cheap, they're filling, and you can get them either just the plain, like it's kind of like a thin, kind of dry sesame bagel. You can also get them with cream cheese or with Nutella. And yeah, they're definitely a very popular street snack down here.
What a pleasant surprise this place has been.
Agreed. I like it here.
Yeah, we were just discussing, like, after the initial like getting past, getting scammed and everything, this is quickly becoming one of our favorite countries.
Yeah, agreed. Turkey in general, I'm actually quite in love with. This side of Istanbul, absolutely love. It's just so much more laid back. Yes, it's really busy here by the waterfront on the Asian side right now. You know, people just got off that ferry, and then a bunch more people just got on that ferry, and I'm sure it's going back across to the European side. But you know, you've got buskers playing some music, you've got kids fishing off the pier just to our right.
Yeah, and it's not geared towards tourists here. Like, we just bought a bottle of water from one of the vendors right on the waterfront, and it was 15 lira, which I'm sure on the other side would have been way higher. So I don't know if this is a hot tip or not, but if you are thinking of coming here, think about staying on this side and then just taking the ferry over to the European side to see all the sights, and then stay over here. There's lots of restaurants, there's everything you want, and all at local prices.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's any wrong answer. Either side you stay, there's going to be stuff to do, things to see, food to eat, and overall, I like Istanbul a lot. So I think that's where we're gonna close off this video. We're back here at the metro station in Kadıköy, and we're gonna go wander down and take the train almost all the way back to the other end of that line, back to our hotel. And yeah, thanks very much for coming along today with us, exploring, well, not exploring too much, but just poking around a little bit here on the Asian side of Istanbul. We hope you've enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit the thumbs up to give us a like, and make sure you subscribe.
And we hope that you'll join us in our next video for more adventures. Until then, stay curious and keep exploring.
The next day.
We're in a different neighborhood in Kadıköy. Just taking a wander over to one of the gluten-free restaurants for lunch, and there's this really cute little, I don't know if it's like an alleyway, but it's basically stairs going up in that direction, and we've got some street art and graffiti on both sides, and it's really cool. You've got like cartoon characters, video game characters, like all sorts of stuff, and it goes for quite a ways. It's pretty neat. We are at Rolla Gluten Free, which is a gluten-free restaurant that we found on the Find Me Gluten Free app. It's like a little diner. They do burgers and wraps and that sort of thing. But what they have that's really cool is pastel de nata, which is not something that Cory's had before we came here. And it is a Portuguese-style egg tart with this like really flaky pastry crust. So yeah, that's what it looks like. Give it a try. So because it's gluten-free, it's a little harder. It's not quite as like flaky as normal would be, but it's pretty damn tasty. And the filling is egg, and it's like an egg custard, really sweet hint of lemon flavor behind it. Oh, that's really lovely.
Ever having a pastel de nata before, it looks like an egg tart, like a Chinese egg tart to me. So that's the closest I'm going to be able to like compare it to. That is yummy. The egg with a little bit of lemon and sugar is just like a really nice light flavor. The crust, even though it's hard, I don't mind it. It's actually really good. You wouldn't know that this was gluten-free if someone hadn't told you.
Our food has arrived. I've gone with a fried chicken basket, which is basically chicken tenders and fries, and looks pretty crispy. That's not bad. And I've got lots of different dips. I think a barbecue sauce, mayo, and I'm not sure what this one is. Still not sure what that one is. Kind of tangy, creamy. Overall, yeah, pretty tasty.
I went with a falafel wrap. It looks as good as a wrap can be.
Thank you.
I don't know if you can see it. I haven't gotten into it so far. But it's got like pickles and pickled like cabbages and stuff and onion and waffle. It's really good.